Hey guys, it's Kristy back for another video blog. Alright, so last time I talked to you guys, I instinctively knew I needed to slow down. I was going to focus on finishing out coaching this leadership team and put poker on the back burner and use the money that I had made so far to invest in my business, my website, developing myself as a writer, entrepreneur, speaker. That's what I did, and it was going great. And then a couple of days before New Year's Eve, I decided to put in a poker session because I was itching to play. But I hadn't even thought about poker for the previous 2 months. So I walk into Aria, everybody's like, hey! I'm like, hey, feels so good to be back. And I sit down and play. And I feel like a little uncomfortable. Like not as home as I usually feel. I play a couple pots. You notice I'm a little bit unsure in my decisions. Like I'm just feeling I know I'm rusty basically. And then I start losing and I start thinking about, God, I shouldn't even be playing. I should be focusing. I'm rusty. Like what's happening? And then I start questioning myself. I'm like, oh, maybe, man, I don't think I'm playing very well, but I don't really want to leave. The games are pretty good and I never get to play. So I'm stuck and I'm sitting there and I know I'm not really in the right headspace. And then I get in a big 3-bet pot. I bet the flop at the turn, and on the particular river, and this was versus 3 people on a particular river, one of the players shoved into me. And I was thinking to myself, like my first instinct is to fold. And then all of these things, like these thoughts and fear and worry about judgment, and it was just weird. Like all of these things clouded my thought process. And even though I knew I should fold, I called. And I was like, and I called and I was wrong and I lost the giant pot and I left. And so then for the WTF Am I Doing With My Life podcast, I got to interview Elliot Rowe, who is a hypnotherapist and mental game coach. This is perfect. I'm like, I'm going to ask him the questions that I want to know. So we get on the phone and let me just share with you what he had to say.
I'll be honest, I mean, from what I see with the players I work with, you should either study and play or not play.
Yeah.
And treat it as that's the way I try and describe it to people is if you're a professional, like are there any sports that you like that you like to watch? Okay, so you like watching soccer. You hear that a famous guy from your favorite soccer team is refusing to turn up to practice. Mm-hmm. He plays terribly, and then they interview him afterwards, and he says, well, I haven't been training. And if you were watching that, what would you think?
I'd be like, well, obviously, didn't play well.
And that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I work with Olympians and stuff. They make less money than bad poker players. Uh-huh. Right? And they have to live it.
Yeah.
And if they can live it for no money, a poker player can put in, an hour of study a day.
Right.
To be competitive in the games. And you really need to turn it into, I'm a professional athlete if I'm playing for money. Therefore, there's no option but to study. Otherwise, it's like a soccer player not turning up to practice.
You're right. Yeah.
Do you see the difference in
Totally.
mindset? And so many poker players don't realize that they're a professional athlete, but you really are if you're competing for money. Mm-hmm. And, if you've got 50% of the table are doing that and you're one of the ones who isn't, you shouldn't win. Like, it's wrong if you do win.
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right.
So I'd really, like, if nothing else from today, you don't allow yourself the option of poker unless you're treating it like a professional.
Yeah.
So either poker is, when you're going to play, you're a professional, you're going to make money and you're studying, or you just say, okay, well, I'm not playing poker at the moment. I'm just focusing on my other business, which is fine as well. But you can't half do poker because it's so dangerous. I know, it's such common sense, right?
Then, if you haven't listened to the episode, oh my gosh, please go do it. Find it on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud. It is one of my favorite episodes because we actually had a live hypnotherapy session and I recorded it. And I wasn't sure if I was going to use it because a lot of personal things can come up, but I wanted to record it just in case. And I did actually share snippets from the live session, and I'm telling you guys, he like blew my mind. Just like, I just want to ask you, is there something in your game, in your poker game, or even in life, with your relationships, with your job, where there are times when you say to yourself, I know I shouldn't be doing this, and then you do it anyway, even if it's with food, where you're like walking up to order your food and you're like, do not order the pizza, do not order the pizza, and you get up there and you're like, I'll take the personal pizza, and then you get it and you're like, what happened? I know I shouldn't be eating this, and you're eating it, right? Because when we are driven to make these decisions, even though like what we're in our brains, we're like, no, don't do this, there's something else going on. So if you can imagine an iceberg where the tip of it is your conscious, but underneath the waterline is the huge mass of the iceberg, and that is our subconscious, and we are all the time making decisions from our subconscious. And hypnotherapy is a way to dive in there and get in there and reach under there and find out what's there. And it's tough. It's tough work, but it was amazing. And just like I promised Elliot, I wasn't going to play poker until I could immerse myself. And to update you guys, that I've been grinding poker to support the business, to invest in myself, and well, I spent all the money. The money is gone. Not just gone, but like I've spent more than I have. I spent this much on the website. I took a couple of workshops, developed myself as a coach and a speaker, and I'm also taking a business course because I've never even written a business plan before. And I'm doing my due diligence. I am doing my research and going with courses and companies that I really trust and am getting so much value from. And I'm just really investing in myself because, I'm going down this path of a brand new career, and I know that the accelerated way to get to where I want to be, which is extremely skilled, and I want to be as effective as possible, it's just like I need to get coached and I need to invest in myself. It's like kind of going to college because I'm definitely not using my degree, which is in communications. Well, I guess I'm communicating. But anyway, and then there's another course that I want to take, which is really expensive. And luckily, I have the opportunity and I have the ability to play poker. So I'm going to immerse myself. I'm going to get coached. I'm going to grind a lot of hours. And I'm going to go back to the tables and do this. And I'm also writing my first book, and I want to hire a book coach. And it's going to cost some money to, design the book cover, which I'm going to bring you guys along the way. And I'm sorry I haven't updated, because what I realized this in my hypnotherapy session, but one of the things that holds me back and drives me is my need for perfection, because I'm always worried that if I put out something that's not perfect, people aren't going to love me, they're going to judge me, and it's going to be painful. The last time I recorded this, I literally had cilantro on my teeth, and I had to record this again, and now I'm in a car on my iPhone and not my fancy camera. This vlog is like a stream of consciousness. You're just getting it all. Okay? That's it. I love you guys. Okay. Bye.